Thompson, you recently had an awful personal tragedy. You lost your mom.
Yes.
And then, which is awful. But then that was compounded by, as you were trying to keep some family keepsakes together, some of those things got lost by the Postal Service. What happened?
So, thank you for your condolences for my mother. She died suddenly. So everything happened very fast with preparation for her funeral and getting back home. And then also because my mother was renting, packing up her space. And so we only had a week to do all of these things. And after we packed up her belongings, I set out to have them delivered to myself here in Florida. I went to the Postal Service, post office in Warren, Ohio, where my family is from. And then I had 3 big boxes in this small box. But they were heavy, you know. All of them were heavy because they were packed with my mom's belongings that I wanted to keep from her apartment and, you know, from my memories and just everything. And so this particular box was filled with pictures of my mom, pictures that were hanging around our house, of family members, myself, my children, my brother's children, nieces, nephews, you know, just the typical things that hang around your house, you know, when you've lived a good life and you just, you know, like to reflect on your family in your own private time. And so I wanted to bring those photos home to my house so I could remember my mother, create some scrapbooks and just, you know, have something for my own children to remember their grandmother. And I was very surprised that when the other 3 packages arrived to my house, this box was not with it. I asked the postman at the time, you know, where the box was, and he said he didn't know. And I was like, okay. So I said, hey, patience is a virtue. I'll just go ahead and track it and see if it doesn't come in the next couple of days. Upon me tracking the box, I found out that the box somehow came to Florida. And I don't know what happened when it came, but then it went back to Ohio. But in getting back to Ohio, it stopped at a couple of different destinations in between there. And then I seen that in a track and I said, that's really odd. I said, okay. I said, well, maybe, you know, it will come back. It finally gets here a couple days ago. And well, I guess the one thing was odd that my post lady who usually delivers to my house, the package would have been a little bit heavy for her, you know. And so it was, you know, she dropped it off. You know, I read the top of it, which said rewrapped and resealed, you know. But I didn't think too much of it. I didn't think that my stuff would be gone. So I have a lot of stuff going on right now because we have a very busy week for my organization. Set out to, you know, go do that. And when I came back in my own private time in the early morning hours, like about 5 a.m., 6 a.m., I decided to go ahead and open the box, you know, because I just wanted to be emotionally prepared for looking at my mother's photos, you know, and just kind of delving into her memories. And lo and behold, there were only 5 pictures in a box that had 20 pounds worth of pictures. 5 pictures. And I just...
So you're saying this whole box is basically full of pictures?
19 pounds. The poundage is right there. I paid $40. $40. I could have shipped this amount of pictures that was left in the box in an envelope, in a carrier envelope, with the bubbles, you know, and shipped it to myself. I think there might have been some personal little journals in there of my mother, pictures, some mementos around the house, you know. So it was a box, you know, full of memories, and they tried to stuff it with all of this paper, you know, because all this paper wasn't in here.
This is a box you packed yourself.
This is a box I packed myself, right? So they replaced all of the pictures that was in here with all of this to make it seem like the weight, you know, was whatever, and was back to 20 pounds. It's also glass, lots of broken glass in the box. You know, I literally had to come outside to open up the box after some of the glass had fallen out because I didn't want my children to step on it. So I was just in a state of shock that someone would be that cruel and that incompetent and that unconcerned with my package to, yes, rewrap it and reseal it, but you literally repacked it.
So there was no note saying why it was repacked?
No, nothing. Stuff was missing. I don't know who has my stuff, all of my pictures of my mother and memories, and this is what they decided I needed to keep of my mother. You know, this is what they decided, not me. You know, I think after a while, maybe this person, I'm just assuming, must have figured out that this box had a theme, because they did leave me, you know, some pictures of my mom, like her reunion pictures of her and her boyfriend, a drawing of her. And I think what's especially interesting, they left my mother's brother had passed before she passed, and they left the obituary. But where's the rest of my stuff?
How many pictures would you guess were in there?
Almost about 100 pictures,
And
give or
that's all
take.
that you have left?
This is all that I have left, with no answer.
How did this make you feel?
Disregarded, disrespected, hurt, very hurt. You know, losing a loved one is the most difficult thing that, you know, I feel like anybody will ever go through in their life. And you're literally like grasping for straws. One, trying to understand what has happened to them, whether it was sudden or terminal illness, accident, murder, whatever. You know, they're not here anymore and their presence is gone, and you're just trying to figure out what to do now, how to get into a new routine. I packed these boxes to help me mourn, to help me have that space to figure things out. And this has made her passing much more traumatic, because I don't know what this individual or whoever at the United States Postal Service is doing with my mother's pictures, or pictures of my children, or pictures of myself, pictures of my family.
What do you think happened?
I don't know. I mean, I after further inspection, and this is also what the, you know, guy said at the post office, you know, that one, the lady who originally did my box, you know, she did help. Like, I taped it really well. She further taped it, but she keyed it in wrong. So she keyed in the address that it's going to and from, you know, Ohio or something like that. Like, she keyed it all in wrong, you know. And so that was the first error by the post office. The second error, I have no idea, but I see that this whole side of my box has been taped over, you know. So even if pictures fell out on a conveyor belt, or even in a truck, you know, or even in handling, maybe you were picking the box up and, you know, and the box split open and pictures came out. They didn't fall into a black hole. They didn't fall into the center of the universe, you know. they fell on the ground. They fell on a conveyor belt. They fell at someone's feet. They fell. Pick them back up. Put them together. Put them back in the box. Tape it back up and mail me my stuff. Don't send me just this little bit of stuff.
And it's almost like what they said, they put some of the packing stuff, and almost like they're trying to trick you into thinking that it was your full.
Right, that it was for my full box, yeah. As if I wasn't gonna notice that these are, you know, pictures of my family are missing. As if I was, if I didn't have enough sense to know that something had happened. Like.
So when you talk to the Postal Service, what have they said?
Well, it was interesting enough. There was another person's package was in my package.
So you had your just couple, 4 or 5 pictures
in another small box.
Box of stuff.
Yes.
That wasn't your box. It was addressed to somebody else.
Somebody else. We put in a tracking number on that box, and that box had not been delivered to that person. So what, you know, they were still waiting. It was a recent delivery that failed to get to that individual. So I made sure that that person is going to get their item, because that's the right thing to do, you know.
Making sure you get your stuff.
But right, where's my stuff? And so I felt like at first the postmaster was exuberant about me finding a package that still needed to be shipped. And I had to stop him for a moment in his glee and say, but where's my mother's stuff? And I said, you can't leave me like this emotionally. You cannot leave me like this. You all have my stuff, and I want it back, and I want to know what happened to it. Show me footage. I deserve that. I deserve to see with my own 2 eyes what happened to my stuff, because these are memories that cannot be remade. They're priceless. I mean, they might have a price. Yeah. That's what it comes to.
Yeah,
but they're priceless in nature. They cannot be recreated. They need to be returned.